first player that pulls up was Kevin Durant.
Mm.
And he's in his Tesla, and he raises the windows down. He's like, yo, man, what are you doing out here? I was like, I'm trying to be one of you.
And he's like, good luck.
Like that.
Well, he didn't say good luck. He was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, man. He was like, what does this sign say? And I was like, I just need a chance at my dream. He's like, yo, I mess with that, man. He's like, yo, he's like, hop in the car with me, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Untapped Potential Podcast. Today, we have a special guest. His name is Dari Arrington. Dari made national headlines in 2018 when he stood outside the Golden State Warriors arena, waiting for an opportunity to try out with the team. He's also traveled overseas to play basketball, and now he's a youth basketball coach, helping kids improve their overall basketball game. Dari, welcome to the show.
What's going on, Dari?
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Dude, this is an episode that I was really looking forward to as well, because, you know, obviously, like, we know each other. You model for the brand,
Yep.
But your story is really unique and a really inspiring one because you really took a lot of risks to get to where you're at today and put yourself in positions intentionally to maximize the opportunities that were given to you. So before we get into the headlines that you made in the news, I want to talk about, you know, who is Dari Arrington?
Yeah,
Where did
sure.
you start? And for those of you that don't know, Dari isn't actually from Seattle. You're from Chicago,
Yeah,
right?
from Chicago. Yeah.
So let's
Originally
get
from
started
Chicago.
on that. Tell me a little bit about how you grew up,
Yeah.
and just your family. And
Yeah,
that.
for sure. So, I'm from Chicago, south side of Chicago. I grew up in Hyde Park, and then I grew up in Inglewood, and then we moved a little bit further south. So I kind of was like in this little tripod of neighborhoods on the south side of Chicago. My family's a huge Jordan fan, so everything was the Bulls. And
Growing up, it was all the Bulls,
man,
huh?
it was all the Bulls. And early on, I didn't really understand all that stuff. I know my dad likes to say he put the ball in the crib for me.
Oh.
And, you know, that's an ongoing story. So maybe he did. I don't really know. I asked my mom. She was like, I don't remember, but maybe. So, yeah, from Chicago. I did all of my schooling there. We actually moved to Atlanta, though.
Oh, interesting.
A little bit early on in my my childhood, and I stayed there for 4 years. And then when I got back to high school, we moved back to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And then-
So you went to middle school in Atlanta.
Yep.
And then in high school, then you moved back.
Yep. I moved back to start my high school career and just stayed there all the way up until Seattle came.
So tell me a little about your experience in high school, because when we talked several months ago, you mentioned that when you tried out, you were cut from basketball all 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that experience.
Man, yo, that was such a interesting time because when I was in Atlanta, that's when I fell in love with basketball. And so first time I actually picked up a ball, my dad, he would say otherwise, but I picked up a ball in Atlanta because all I wanted to do was be the next Michael Vick. I wanted to be an NFL player.
Oh, so you were into football before.
Yeah, man, football was everything for me. I mean, and then living in the South, you know,
Yeah.
that's what it's
their bread and butter
yeah,
over
it's
there.
bread and butter football. Not so many people playing basketball. Now it's different, but I wanted to be Michael Vick. You know, I even wore number 7, and he was playing for the Falcons at the time, and it was just like Vick, you know. And then he also was like multi-talented, like he could play quarterback, he was a wide receiver, running
He could
back,
run.
and he was small. He was only 5'11", and I was always small. So it was like, all right, I can throw the ball, I can run, I can catch. I just didn't like to get tackled. So, you know, but it's like if I could duck and dodge, I'd get away from it. So one day in practice, we were doing this 1v1 drill where we just kind of like tackle each other. And I was like, man, I don't really want to do this because I don't want to get hit. And the dudes were like aggressive, but we were all the same age. But keep in mind, I was really small.
Were you like one of the smallest ones? Like within your
I
team?
was super small. I was like the kid with the big head and big helmet and the little pads like that, like really scrawny. And so this kid was just bigger, and I could like see his face through his helmet. He was just like ready at the mouth guard in, sweaty. And then so what we had to do is we had to lay on our back. Coach blow the whistle. We had to hop up and go at each other like that. And so I was prepared. I was never afraid, but I just didn't like the contact like that. So once he did it, we just collided head to head, and I just fell out.
Did you black out?
No, I didn't black out. I was just like down. And at first I was like, yeah, I'm not getting up. And so I could have got up though, but I was like, no, I'm gonna stay here. I think this feels comfortable right here.
Wow.
This is safe. And so, but when I tried to get up, I couldn't feel anything on the left side of my body.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I couldn't feel anything. So it was just completely numb, and it was like that for 48 hours.
Could you move your
48
arms?
hours?
48 hours.
What was it, like a concussion or some type
It was
of
like
brain
a
injury?
stinger. I don't know what it was. It was just like literally everything on this side was just, I couldn't move it. And so my mom was like, yeah, you're done.
Oh, so she took you out. You're like, this is
Yeah.
too dangerous.
And I
for
was
you.
like, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
at that point, how long were you playing football for?
I had played football from age 6 and to 12. So, yeah,
6 years.
Yeah,
So
6
that's
years.
a long time.
Yeah, 6 years. And the early years, it wasn't like contact. We were just like
Flag football.
yeah, flag football and stuff. So I knew once I got older, it was we were gonna have to do the contact and whatnot. So, and I was playing for Butler Park in Atlanta, and it was their community center league.
Yeah.
And so once that incident happened, I knew I didn't want to play anymore because I didn't want to feel that pain. And then I just started thinking about like being a high school player and how much more it was going to be. So I was happy. She was like, yeah, you're done. We're going to find something else, because she wasn't always in support of like football on that level. Like she just didn't like the stories of players, later on in their career, like the domestic violence and everything that's going on mentally and stuff like that. So she was already thinking about those things. She was more so just wanting me to have a social life and stuff. So, but when she saw her baby get hurt, she was like, yeah,
nobody wants to see that.
yeah,
Right.
it was done. And then I was for 48 hours, like I was like, Mom, I can't feel anything.
Did you ever feel at one point that you weren't gonna move your arm again? Like, did you go to the hospital? Or?
Yeah, we did, and the doctor was just like, it was just a sting, or something
sting.
like that. Yeah, like some kind of, I forget what it's called, but I know Chris Paul kind of had that just in the series against I think it was the Lakers. Yeah, he had that shoulder situation. It was just a sting, but mine lasted for super long though, and I was just like freaking out. So
And I mean, at 12 years old, that's not something that.
yeah,
you know,
it was not a comfortable feeling.
Right.
Because like I couldn't feel anything, so it's just like making everything super uncomfortable. So I'm like, this is weird. So then once I regained my feeling, I was trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. And then I know my buddies, they were like always playing basketball and stuff. So one day I just went outside and joined. And then when I touched the ball for the first time, it was like magic, man. It was like, man, I just like the way this sounds, like going against the ground and my shoes squeaking. And I remember when I first shot the ball, it was just like natural.
Wow.
It just felt right.
It just felt.
And you hadn't played basketball before that?
Never.
So your dad's story isn't really lining up at this point, right?
This is what I'm saying. It's funny. Yeah. Well, he didn't say he taught me the game.
Right.
He just said he put the ball in there. So then we talk about this, and he was like, you may have not picked it up right away, but I introduced it.
He instilled it early on.
Early on. You were going
planted that
yeah,
seed.
you were going to tap in soon. And
Did your dad play basketball? Was he huge into it? Or?
Yeah, he played basketball. He has these funny stories. But he's a stylist. He's into fashion. So I more so think my dad, if he played basketball, he was just in it for,
The aesthetic.
fans and
The attention.
the attention, all that stuff around it. Me, I'm just like, I'm trying to hoop.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going at you. That's what that was. So yeah, once I discovered that feeling, I just never stopped. I kept playing, and I just loved everything about it. And I would just stay out there all the way till like 1 a.m. My mom would be screaming at me, "Dre, get in the house. What are you doing?" Bouncing the ball. And people were like, "Hey, kid, stop bouncing the ball."
People trying to sleep.
Yeah, we're trying to sleep. And I just would not stop. And my mom sometimes would threaten me that you're not going to be able to play basketball if you can't respect the rules or come in the house. And eventually she just stopped saying that to me and let me just do whatever I wanted to do on the court. Because I was never a problem kid. Like, I was always good in school. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't stop dribbling this ball. I just wanted to play ball. Yeah. And it just carried over. So I would play, and I started to get better and better. And then I played my first tournament ever in Atlanta. And I will never forget this. There was this guy that was, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Atlanta, but at the time, the style was just so unique. Like, dudes were wearing jerseys, right? But this guy had on football cleats.
In a basketball jersey.
In a Kobe Bryant jersey. He was wearing the number 8 jersey. I still remember this. Like, it was just such a weird outfit. But I just thought, I was like, yo, this guy's big time. Because you coming out here with this loud outfit. This is serious.
You want some attention at that point.
Wait, he was playing basketball?
No, he was just like watching.
He was just watching.
Yeah, he was like, just, what do you call it? Just a fan.
Got it.
You know, just kind of just standing out there. And I just remember this one play where I had the ball and I did a Kobe fadeaway. And, I mean, it didn't look exactly like Kobe, but in my head, it was like Kobe. And so the ball went in, and he was just screaming. He's like, "Oh, that's the next Kobe right there."
Is that what he said?
That's what he said. He's like, "That's the next Kobe. You guys heard it from me first." And he started doing his jersey like this.
Wow.
And I heard it, and it stuck with me all this time.
Wow.
It stuck with me. And then I remember when I got to see my first NBA game was in Atlanta.
With the Hawks playing who?
The Hawks playing the Lakers.
Oh, wow.
And then I actually met Kobe.
You actually met Kobe Bryant.
How'd you meet him?
I was sneaking down towards the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, Kobe. And he was like, ignoring me. Like, he's, Kobe's locked in.
Oh, during the
Mama
game
mentality is
sure.
like, but then he looked over and he just gave me a head nod like that.
That's awesome.
And I just never forgot it. I even have the picture.
Oh, you have a picture?
I had a picture. It's on my Instagram.
That's awesome.
We'll have to pull that up.
Yeah, we will.
He's shooting a free throw.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Man.
He's shooting a free throw. And ever since then, it was just like, that was going to be my role model.
And that's what you kept working towards.
That's what I kept working towards. And I tapped in and I was like, one day I have to just meet him and talk to him and just like really thank him. And then really I just shaped myself into, you know, what many people see Kobe as, like this really driven individual. And just like, he knows what he wants, and he's a complete assassin on the court. I knew I was never going to be 6'6", but I had to do all the other things, and I was willing to do all the other things, and even some things that other people weren't willing to do. So once I got back to Chicago, it was just like, I'm going to make this team.
It was time.
It was like,
you had that Mamba mentality.
Yeah, early on, before even Kobe even thought of Mamba mentality, I was already locked in because it was like, this is what I'm seeing from this guy. So I'm watching all these tapes. And, you know, I think at that time, when I was 12, Kobe was already in his third ring, you know? And so it was like, I have to do this. You know?
So growing up then, did that make you like a Lakers fan?
Yeah. I mean, it made me a Lakers fan by default, but I was more so a Kobe fan.
I see.
And so just, you know, that's the team he played for. So I became a Laker fan, and I was also very hated for that.
Yeah, I would imagine, because everybody else in your household would be a Bulls fan.
Yeah, right? They were Bulls fans, and, you know, the whole Kobe, Michael Jordan talk was happening then. I wasn't hearing that noise, though. I was like,
Kobe's my guy.
That's my guy. And also when Michael was, I think, in that last three-peat, I was so young. You know, I remember sitting on my grandma's lap watching, you know, them. But I wasn't like really paying attention. I was just, she was talking to me like, "Oh, you see Michael, you see Scotty," and I'm just like, "Yeah," but Kobe was that, and so
that was your generation.
Yeah, that was my generation. Like now I'm here. Now I'm watching the game, and so going back to Chicago, I told my grandma, I was like, "Grandma, I'm going to the NBA. And so I was, at that time, I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was 13. I'm sorry. I was 13 going back to Chicago and getting ready to start my freshman year in high school because I turned 14 in October.
Gotcha.
So we had tryouts, and I was like, I'm going to the NBA, Grandma.
And tell me about how that mentality of you saying, hey, I'm going to go to the NBA, you had that confidence about yourself, about playing basketball.
Yep.
And then trying out for the team.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened then?
So tryouts come, and I'm just ready to go. Like, I'm fully confident in all my skills. I feel like I played against some good matchups, and then come back home. We come back in the summer, so like right before the school year even started, I played it against guys in Chicago, and I was like, oh, I can hold my own. Tryouts come, and I get cut.
And that's just the fact that you didn't have like the amount of experience, I would assume.
And so I didn't know who to talk to about that. I mean, like, at least at the time, I was just shocked. And I didn't even know what that meant, because that was my first time trying out for anything like for that. Because playing football, it was just like you sign up and your kid can play, right? This was different in high school. Like, you got to make the team.
Was it a really competitive high school? Do you think that's what it was? Was it politics?
So Chicago, definitely politics.
Politics.
Chicago has a lot of talent, but there's like the coaching, at least in that era, it was just so political. It was like everybody already knew the kids in middle school, maybe even elementary.
So they knew their skill going in before they even tried
they just
out.
knew who they were. And so I'm coming back to Chicago from Atlanta. So
it's like, oh, that's Dan Jones' kid. You can't cut him.
yeah,
His dad donates to the program.
right. So it was kind of like almost like Kobe's story when he came back from Italy. Nobody didn't know who he was, and he went to, he's back to Philly and goes to Lower Merion, but his skill set is a little different than mine. But it was that feeling. So I was like, all right, this is year one, and my grandma was like, look, you get back out there, you work, and we'll give it a shot again next year. And so that I was okay with that. And that's when she first told me the story about Michael Jordan and him being cut from his team.
Oh, interesting.
That's a famous story too.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, yeah, that really resonates with me, and it made me feel really empowered and inspired to keep going. So that entire rest of the school year in summer, I was locked in. Like,
you were just playing by yourself, practicing every day.
by myself. I did meet some new friends, and I was like, guys, let's wake up at 5 a.m. and just play basketball and just work. And they were like,
What are you talking about?
Dude, it's the summer, man. I'm like, let's go talk to some girls. We're freshmen. Like, let's go to the pool. I was like, dude, we could do that later, but let's go hoop. And I met these guys, and they were talking about the NBA too.
So they were also motivated, but
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
were-
have that same motivation that you had.
No, man, it was so different.
Right. They had the dream. You had the plan and the dream, though,
Boom.
right?
Right there. That's exactly what it was. And I saw this so clear. Like, it was going to happen. Like, I was like, yeah, I don't really care that I got cut. I'm going to the NBA. Like, it's going to happen. I'm going to make my way there. And I will wake up at 5. I was at Fernwood Park, dribbling, shooting, just doing everything that I can do. And this is, pre-YouTube. So I'm like, I'm still watching VHS tapes.
Just putting in all the highlights that you could of just the players and all
everything
the
that I
moves.
recorded. And I would just go out there and mimic that. And I'll be talking to myself like, oh, Kobe's coming down the court. Oh, he pulls up for the 3. Bang!
That's the best, too. You're just out there vibing,
Going
doing all these
crazy.
little scenarios by yourself.
Man, it was such a time because I really saw fans out there on the court. Like, the court was flooded. Like, I tapped into a whole visual. It was just, it was crazy. And I did that for the whole summer. Came back for the second year tryout. So I'm really, like, pumped. I'm like, oh, yeah, come on.
You felt ready.
go.
You're
Oh
like,
my
I just
gosh.
spent a whole year, trying that or practicing for this exact moment.
Absolutely. And then I remember I was playing them against their starting point guard that was in the tryout too. Tore him up. Just going right at him, just bang, bang. He couldn't stay with me.
Couldn't keep up.
No, couldn't keep up. It was way too fast. Way too fast. Just going to the basket every time. And the coach is yelling. He's like, come on. You're my starting point guard, aren't you? You're my starting point guard. He's like, who is this kid? I was like, soon enough, you'll see. And I felt very confident after that. And then that was it. Got cut again.
See, that's just politics.
That's
right there
politics
at that point.
100%.
How'd that make you feel, though, man? Because at that point, you'd been cut once.
Mm-hmm.
That's heartbreaking, right? And then you put in all this work. You saw how you took on that point guard, and you were still cut. How do you feel in that moment?
So that was the very first time I felt like my heart's broken. So up until that point, I don't know what heartbreak is. But that felt like something that I really worked for, that I put my best effort towards, just was ripped away from me.
So you didn't make the team your junior year.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see your name on the list.
Yep.
Your senior year, what happened?
So senior year, that was the biggest year for me. I decided to go to the coach's office. It was like, hey, man, I don't know if you already have your team, but you need to take a really serious look at me. And he's like, I need to take a serious look? I was like, yes, you need to take it serious. I believe that I am the only basketball player in this entire school that wants it as bad as I do. I know you have athletes on your team, but you don't have anyone that's dedicated to this game and then puts in the work that I put in. Right. He's like, how do you know this? Because I'm the only one that's talking to you like this right now.
And what was his reaction?
And he was like, sorry. He's like, well, I'm going to take a look. I'll take a look. I'll give you a serious look. I was like, I appreciate that. And I told him, I said, look, I really want to play. This is my senior year. I have no schools looking at me, and I really think that I can make magic happen where I can get to a school that I want to go to, and we can make some serious headlines. We can do that together, you and me. And he was just like, he's like, man, you're out of your mind, man.
You're dreaming.
Yeah, you're dreaming. He's like, it doesn't happen like that. He's like, you haven't played in 3 years. I was like, correction. I played all the years. I just haven't played on a school team in 3 years. And he was just like, this guy.
He's never met you before, never heard of you before.
Exactly.
You don't really have those connections.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, it's like, I just haven't played on a team. I've been playing all the years, you know? And so I just need you to give me a serious look, man. And if you feel that I'm not prepared, then, you know, that'll be what it'll be. And so as soon as that happened, afterwards, I just go super crazy. Like, I remember I was begging the janitor to let me in the gym. Like, before school started, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. and I'm going to meet up with the janitor.
And the janitor's like, kid, you're crazy.
Dude,
go home.
He's like, I can't let you in the building. I was like, come on, man. I'm chasing my dream, man. Come on. I was like, look, don't you want me to come back here and be like, yo, thanks for letting me do what I needed to do. Here, let's get you out of this. You don't need to be doing this anymore. What do you want to do? You know, let's think outside the box, man. Let's do something different. You have the keys. I'm just shooting the ball, man. I'm not going and wrecking the classrooms up or.
Yeah, you're not spray painting or anything.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I just want to practice on my game in the gym. So he let me do it a few times.
Oh, but not every time?
Yeah, not every time. And so, but again, like, nobody around there was hearing or knowing what to do with a person that driven. You know, like, high school kids, they weren't really like that.
That's rare.
Yeah, they're thinking about girls.
Thinking about girls. Especially the guys, and especially if you're on the team, I'm already set. You know, where's the party at? You know, let's go do this. Let's do all this other stuff. But I was just different. And so tryouts come. He set it up like he did the previous year. My vertical is jumping. I'm jumping higher now. So at that time, I was jumping a 37-inch vertical.
So you improved even since the year before.
Oh, all the years before. Yeah, definitely. And I got my first dunk in my senior year.
Oh, wow.
How tall are you, Dari?
I'm 5'10".
5'10", dunk. Yeah, that's good.
Got my first dunk.
Serious.
So what vertical do you need to have to dunk?
I mean, you really just need like a 27-inch vertical. It's all about the technique.
Got it.
But, you know, when you're 5'10", You just got to jump a little higher.
Get a little bit more.
A little bit more jump. So tryouts come, and then what happened?
Yeah, tryouts come, and I remember I'm battling it up with this guy named Travis. I ain't gonna say his last name. This guy named Travis, and it was such a weird thing because my team was just full of black players, and so Travis was the white guy, and he could ball. He's more of a defensive guy, thicker guy. And so we're going at it, and I'm just like, man, I am killing this guy. Like, he's not guarding me. I'm sorry. He's not, like, no disrespect to you, Travis, but
he's not on your
level. You're just not here, dude. And I remember he was trying to get in my head, and I never talk trash on the court.
Are you the silent type?
I'm super silent. I'm a silent killer. And he was like, yo, he's too small. He's too small. And guys knew Travis. So they were siding with Travis. And dudes didn't really know me. And so, but I was just cooking him constantly, crossing him over. I just kept hitting him with the same crossover because he would bite every time. And then I was just shooting and throwing the dime passes. And I was fully confident for sure. I was like, yo, this is it. And I remember the coach was like,
straight so he up even gave you props.
He was like, boom. And so when he did that, I remember I was like that to him. It's like, you said you was going to watch. And it made me feel really good. So this time, when I got to read the list of who made the team.
Tell me your name was on the list.
I was like, yo, here we go. And my friends was like, yo, hey, we know you're on the team. And I remember I was telling, I was being told by some other people, yo, we heard that you made the squad, bro. And I was like, word, for real? And so I went to go look. My name was on there.
Wasn't?
No, was not on there.
Why?
Bro.
I don't know. I ran straight to the coach's office.
You're like, why the hell?
I was like, was there a mistake? I was like, there's got to be a mistake. I was like, coach, people were telling me that I made the team. Is that for real? Because my heart's racing. I'm like, oh my God, I think I made the team. And so he was like, man, yeah, unfortunately, man,
it's the worst word to hear. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's super. I still hate that word to this day. Get emails and say, unfortunately, we have to go with other candidates. Yeah, he's like, I really appreciate what you brought out there. And I saw it. But, we need, this is what he said to me. We need some diversity on our team.
So no black people. We need more white people? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, well, there was already a team full of blacks.
Wow.
They needed
Travis.
Wow.
More politics.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I was like, dude, are you serious? You want to win? Or you want to be approved by what the world is thinking? He chose that.
Wow. So I think that's a really powerful story because despite all those 4 years that you experienced this adversity, somehow you made your dream happen. You were able to play overseas. I want to quickly talk about that.
Yeah,
and then
for
I
sure.
want to talk about the Golden State thing.
So just to fast forward a little bit, I went through a basketball depression. I stopped playing basketball for a year.
Oh wow! So you just gave up on it. You're like, nobody wants me.
No, I was like, I'm 18. I mean, I didn't think that I was too old. I was just like, how is somebody gonna find me? And I didn't know how to market myself. I mean, you guys see my social media now. Like, I know how to do marketing and all these things, but I didn't know any of that. I wasn't thinking about content creating. That wasn't even a thing. And so I didn't know what to do. And so what I did was I just focused on all my other creative things. So I started drawing more and stuff like that. And guys are like, yo, you don't hoop anymore, man? You don't come to the park? It's like, man, I'm done with the game, man. It's like the game don't love me, man. I can't get through. I gave everything that I can give. Mm-hmm. And I just went through a depression. So I stopped playing for a year. And then I think me and my cousin, we got together and we were just like, let's just start working out. So we weightlifting and doing things like that. The ball is just around. I start touching the ball and playing with the ball. I was like, all right.
Start getting your groove back.
Start feeling it. I was like, let me go outside a little bit and, start shooting. And then I remember we played a few, 3-on-3s, not too serious. And then that hunger just came out of nowhere. And I just wanted it again. And then him and I would start talking like, yo, we could still make it happen, man. Like, we could be the two that didn't play. Well, he played in high school for 2 years, but I was the one that didn't play all 4. And he was like, man, you could be this crazy story that gets drafted. And then people are like, yo, this dude didn't even play high school and he made it to the NBA. What? And so I just started believing in that. And
at that time, you were thinking about Kobe, too, how he played overseas and then he came back, right?
Yeah, well, not so much how he played overseas, because at the time he was a kid. He was a kid when he was in Italy with his father. Right. I was more so just thinking about, like, what would Kobe do with the adversity? You know, thinking, like, what would he tell me? Like, would he just be like, hey, you gave it everything you got. You know, look at something else. Or would he be like, okay,
keep going.
Let's get back in the gym. What are you doing? And that's what I felt like he was telling me. So once I got that hunger back, I remember, this is funny though. When I got that hunger back, I thought about what Michael Jordan did in Space Jam. And so what he did in Space Jam was when Charles Barkley and all that was like, yo, he can't play no more. He can't play no more. And they were like, come on, Mike, you gonna play? And he was like, nah. And then all of a sudden, you know, he's back in the uniform going crazy. And so I was thinking like that. I was like, I feel like Michael in this. Here we go. I'm going to be like in Space Jam. And so all through that summer, getting myself back together. And I just tapped in and I didn't stop. I never looked back. I didn't care what anything that was coming my way. It was adversity. I was just going to keep going through it all. And then just fast forward, I'm trying to figure out where I want to live. Now I'm 24 at this time. Just to fast forward the story, I look into Seattle, and I randomly chose Seattle from a map that was on. I had the USA map on my wall, and I took it down. I was like, where do I want to live? Because I knew I didn't want to go to like New York, Miami, LA, San Francisco, all these places that at the time 20-something-year-olds were going to. They were super popular. I wanted to be different. So I just flipped a coin and then landed between Washington and Oregon. And it was like, what's the most popular city? And Seattle came up. And so I chose Seattle. I knew no one. I just came here and I stayed on a lady's couch for $75 a week.
Wow.
Yeah. And
you didn't even know this woman?
No, I straight found her from Craigslist.
Wow.
My mom was like, you're out of your mind.
Was it weird? Like, staying on someone's couch, was she cool?
Nah, I mean, I was just I just knew I had a plan.
And you knew it was going to be temporary, not permanent.
Yeah, I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to be like, hey, look, I'm going to be buying me a new couch and next to your couch.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And so I only stayed there for 2 weeks and I got my first job here. And I was working at Jimmy John's. And I was like, I'm still going to the NBA. Like, I'm still going.
Dream was still alive.
Yes. Oh, super. And then, you know, now I'm in my 20s. And what happened was I got introduced to a league here. It's called PSBL, Puget Sound Basketball League. And so I started playing this league, the best put together men's league that I've ever seen. And I started chopping, just going crazy. I was dropping 50-point games. You can see one of them on YouTube. And all I remember is I just started thinking about like playing overseas and how I can make a name for myself. And one time it was this Australian guy in the gym. And he goes, hey, where you play? Are you signed? I was like, no, I'm not signed, or I don't play for anyone. Mind you, I wasn't really trusting scouts or coaches, all that, because all the stuff that I've been through. And I just thought that he just thought my performance was good, so I didn't trust it. So he gave me a card, and I reached out, and he told me about an opportunity that was that presented itself in Sydney. And he was like, have you ever been out the country? I was like, nah. And so we keep talking, and I would start telling my dad, and my mom was like, you know, I met this guy, and he was talking about me, you know, playing overseas. and whatnot. Like they can use a talent like me. And so my dad was like really skeptical. He was like, "You never been out the country, and I want your first experience to be, safe." And I was like, "Dad, look, I'm from Chicago. Let's go."
It's like anything's safer than Chicago.
I'm from the south side of Chicago. I've seen some serious things. I think I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna go down there with the Aussies. They be all right. And so, we made it happen. I ended up signing with this team in Australia, and made my pro dream come to life. And I remember when I first got there, I just burst into tears.
You're like, I finally have this opportunity.
It was like an amazing breakthrough. Like, I can't even say, like, just imagine something you just want so bad, and then it just comes, and then you're just like, whoa, like, obviously I want the NBA, but it was like, at that time, I didn't even think about the NBA more. It was just like, man, I just, like, straight up destroyed adversity. Like, I came through all of this stuff, and then now I'm going to play professional basketball. And I killed it out there. I was the leading in 3-point percentage, leading in 3 points made, second in assist. I was going back and forth between the most points per game with me and this other guy. And just all in my first year, I was a rookie, and I was the second oldest on the team. So a lot of those guys play professionally at an early age. And so at that time, I was 25.
So you were playing with people who played in the NBA?
Well, not in the NBA. They just played at a professional level for that tier that I was playing in. And some of the guys were like 19. Excuse me. And I was just an older guy. And we had one other older guy. He was like in his 30s. He was from Texas. And so you can only have 2 imports per foreign team.
Oh.
What league was this for?
The league. Gosh, I'm blanking on the league. I just know it was a tier C, it was a tier C, so it was like a city league.
A city league, okay.
And this was in Melbourne, Australia?
No, it was in Sydney.
Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, Sydney. So it was called the Inner City Storm. I played for it, and it was just great. And so I was just living it up, and I got to meet all these kids and do all this work. And I remember how I felt when I started working with the kids. And I was like, man, I think I'm touching on something else here. And that was it. I came back to Seattle, so I only did it for a year and a few months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and that kind of started the whole basketball youth coaching.
Absolutely.
Timeline for you. But I want to touch on when you came back from Seattle. You still had that hunger to be in the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, were any NBA coaches looking at you in Australia?
No NBA coaches, but I did enter the NBA draft. I entered the NBA draft because I didn't know how to do that, and I didn't have an agent, so I just researched, and I saw this guy talking about how you do it. You write a letter to the headquarters in New York, stating that you want to declare for the draft. And so I felt that within my one season that this was good. This is promising here. I knew I was really going up against some serious draft picks, which really turned out not to be that great of a draft that year.
Oh,
but I knew those guys were in Division I programs. The politics again.
Yeah. So a lot of competition.
Yeah, a lot of competition. But the thing was, I was just happy that I was able to get accepted to enter the draft.
And that was the capstone for you then.
Yeah.
It's at least I made it in and I was good enough to be considered.
Absolutely. And then so I hear back from the lady that was handling all the draftees, and she told me that I wasn't going to get drafted. Obviously, I knew that I didn't get drafted because I watched it and my name wasn't called. But just going through that experience, it felt so liberating. I know I'm supposed to be here. There's probably just not my time, or I don't know when it's going to happen, but it felt like I was there, even though I wasn't experiencing what those players that were getting their names called felt like.
Right.
So it was just this interesting experience. And so I get undrafted, but what really stood out is in the email she says, even though you didn't get drafted, you're still an NBA free agent. So if there is a team that is interested, you can sign.
Wow.
And so I was like, yo, that is a dope title.
NBA free agent.
I may not be an NBA player, but I'm an NBA free agent.
Yeah, so it's like whatever I decide to do from here on out to try to get my way in, I know I'm a free agent. I'm not just some guy that wants
Got that
play,
title.
Right.
but I have this title. Like it's solidified. Like I'm certified. Yeah, I'm available, and
Right.
you can pick me up, and we can actually go through the whole contract phase and all that. So then, a few years pass. I'm working with the kids. I found that, but someone's still knocking. I was like, man, I really want to play in the NBA still. I really want to give it everything that I got. The last go. I was like, this is going to be my last go, because at this time I was 27, and this is my last go for me, not because the world's telling me I'm too old. Like I'm not too old. Like if I was able to get picked up on a team, I would just be 27 years old playing NBA. But I think more so it's just like the miles that I was putting on myself from the journey and what people were seeing that, this, it's just not happening. And so like, I wasn't losing the grip on reality. I was like, I just need just one look, just one real opportunity to really show, because I knew I had it all. Like I'm just way too determined and too focused. So I created a project called Be the Why. And what that project was going to focus on is, what is your why? And why are you that? And so I was like, look, I'm going to go out to San Francisco, and at the time, like, big time Warriors fan. And I was inspired by this guy named Joe Anderson, who did it for the NFL. He stood outside their practice facility for the Houston Texans.
Oh, that's right.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
So he was out there every day with the sign, right?
Yep, his water gallon, and just
waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah.
And that inspired you to do your own.
Yeah, because I saw this and I was like, yo, this dude is crazy. But this is this is so dope. But nobody, like, people wasn't really, like, people were inspired because he was doing it, but they were like, I don't know if I could do something like that. Like, this dude's like gave up on his job, and he's like, yo, and if you look at his Instagram, like, this dude is like serious motivated. Like,
he's practicing.
Mamba mentality. Oh, yo, I think Kobe would be like, oh, this guy's different right here. And so he was out there with his sign, 6 strong weeks, just out there every day with a water gallon. He didn't get anything to eat. He was just out there. And the Buffalo Bills brought him on.
Wow.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills brought him on. And so I was like, I've never seen this. But this speaks to me. This is right in my alley.
They gave him a chance.
They gave this dude a chance.
Yeah.
They gave him a chance. And then he got traded to the Jets, but it didn't matter. He was in the NFL.
And he could rest assured that, hey, I made my dream happen.
I made it happen. And he would talk about that. He was like, a lot of people are going to be like, yo, you're out of your mind. A lot of people not just going to get the message, but it will touch somebody. He was like, this will touch somebody. And that person, his name was Dari. And so I was like, okay, he's doing it for the NFL. I'm going to be the first to do it for the NBA. And I remember I was telling my girlfriend at the time, I'm going to quit my jobs here in Seattle. I'm going to go out to San Francisco, and I'm going to stand outside for 31 days, 8 hours, and I'm going to make the Golden State Warriors sign me.
That's bold.
And she's like, you're out of your mind.
She was like, what? What? And I was like, yeah. She was like, no. Come on. She's like, I know you really want to play. And I was like, nah, trust me. This is gonna be huge. She's like, he did it, but it was like luck, look how big he is. And I was like, look, so you're focused on that, like everybody else was focused on the superficial things. look at his mindset. Like, I'm about to be the first person to do this from the NBA. Like, they're going to be like, what is going on? Like, nobody's doing this. So I created it, put it all together, I wrote up what it's about. I talked about it all over social media, and I told my jobs I'm done here. And
they're like, and you told them that too, and they're like, good luck.
Yeah, they were like, okay, hey, you're young enough, chase your dreams like that. And I don't know how much real support it was, but it was just like, this guy's all right. Good luck.
They weren't going to hold you back.
Yeah. And so I did that, and I left out to San Francisco on September 30th, 2018, and I rocked it out for all of October.
Wow, so you're there for the full month.
Mm-hmm.
And at what point did the Golden State Warriors, or at what point did somebody notice you and say, hey, this guy's doing it? And then it led to
I stood out
coverage.
there. The first day was so nerve-wracking. I was like, yo, I'm really about to do this. And she was with me.
Oh, your girlfriend was with you?
She was with me. And she's like, you really gonna do this? I said, we're already here. So I already quit the jobs. So I got to. I got to do it. And so we go out there, and I was in downtown Oakland, and Oakland is like it's a city, man. Like, people I love Oakland so much. People just give you so much love, but they're also like, what is this foolery? What is this guy doing? Because I was dressed very prepared, like there's an event, there's something. But when you see somebody with a sign, you kind of think like maybe he's homeless.
Right.
And then I'm black. So it's like,
plays into the stereotype.
Yeah, plays into the stereotype. But I like that because eyes are going to be drawn. Mm-hmm. And what's said on my sign, people are going to be like, what's going on over here? That's what I want. I want more people to see this.
Where exactly were you standing?
I was in downtown Oakland, below the practice facility.
Got it. Okay.
So you were right there, literally, with the Golden State Warriors and their team next door.
They were at practice upstairs, and I was right downstairs. And so before I got my real groove and got like the okay to be in the space, I was getting chased by the security guards. Like, hey man, you can't be out here. You can't. What are you doing? Soliciting and can't be on the property. Gotta move around. Get away. And so I would try to figure out where that security guard was, and I would go somewhere else for a little bit, and then I would go back to that space. I was like, because I need to be here because the players are right here. They're gonna be right here. Mm-hmm. But little did I know, the players enter and exit in the back. I was thinking they were just coming through the front because I saw excursion trucks, Escalades, and all these things, fancy cars that were going through the front. So I was like, they have to see me if they're going to go through the building. But I met this sweet lady, and she goes, look, I know you're doing something positive, and I'm going to help you. And she was like, every day at this time, they all drive in this way, and then they exit out of this way. You want to be positioning yourself right here. So when they're coming out, they see you. And so I did that.
She put you on. That's good.
She put me on. She put me on, and I was out there, waiting. Then all of a sudden, here comes Steph Curry. Pulls out. The first few days, they were just ignoring me because there were some people that knew that and they just want to get autographs or get stuff signed so they can go resell it. Oh. And the players, they were okay with it, but if you get hounded with it every day, you're just like, all right, I'm not dealing with that today.
You're almost immune to it. It's like you don't even see it.
Yeah, so, but I'm out there with a sign, so I'm not saying, hey, sign my sign.
Different.
I'm forcing you to read this thing. Right. So, first player that pulls up was Kevin Durant. And he's in his Tesla, and he raises the windows down. He's like, yo, man, what are you doing out here? I was like, I'm trying to be one of you.
And he's like, good luck.
That. Well, he didn't say good luck. He was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, man. He was like, what does this sign say? And I was like, I just need a chance at my dream. He's like, yo, I mess with that, man. He's like, yo, he's like, hop in the car with me, man.
So you hopped in a car with Kevin Durant?
with KD.
Just like that.
Holy shit.
And so I sat in and he was chopping it up with me, giving me this free game and just telling me whatever I need to do, continue to do it and don't think about the outside noise. And I know where he was coming from because he had left OKC. And he was getting all the noise from all the people about his decision. He's like, do you. Everything else will fall into place. Do you.
Wow.
So I listened and I was like, I appreciate it. And then he threw me on his Instagram. He took a picture and he put that on his Instagram. So I screenshotted it and saved it.
Wow.
Did he drive you in and then that's how you met the other players?
No. So he was leaving.
Oh, I see.
He was leaving the day of practice. And he was coming out of the parking lot and I was right there. And then we interacted there.
I see.
And so I was like, what?
Did your social media blow up quick once he
Oh, it was blowing up.
posted you?
And then Clay came.
Klay
And then
Thompson.
Clay was like, yo, he already had his phone ready. He comes out with his S550.
He was excited.
He's like, yo, this is what I'm talking about. A man chasing his dream. Don't ever give up on your dream. He was on IG Live.
Wow.
And he put me on there and then he tagged me in it. And he was like, yo, he's like, go follow this guy. Yo, he knows what's up. And then he's like, dap me up. He was like, I got my eyes on you, man. And that's what he said. And then at the time, Damian Jones was on the roster. He did the same thing. And
So you started getting all this attention from the players,
yeah,
right?
started getting all this attention from the players. And then Steve Kerr comes out and he would just give me a head nod. You know, he just give me a head nod and whatnot. And Mike Brown. And
So you got the coaches looking at you now.
yeah, the coaches was coming out and they start seeing me every day.
Wow. And they're like, this guy's serious.
This dude is like, I remember when Mike Brown, he's like, yo, man, what? He's like, who are you? I was like, just bring me upstairs, and I'm gonna show you. Bring me upstairs, and that's all you got to do, and I'm gonna show you.
And at what point did they actually like bring you upstairs?
So I didn't go. I didn't go upstairs. I didn't get to go upstairs with them. I got to go upstairs because the lady that put me on that spot, she snuck me up there.
Oh.
Yeah,
Dude, that lady's a hookup.
Straight up. Always gonna love her. So she would sneak me up there, but I didn't get past like a certain part of the security point. I didn't have like all the credentials that I need, but I got to meet other people and talk. And then I got to meet this guy that was one of their developmental coaches, and he became someone that I was emailing and telling me about like these private tryouts and stuff like that. And so I stayed in touch with him. And I remember that same day that I met him, Bob Myers, the GM, is like walking down the street to go get coffee. And I'm out with my sign, and my like reaction time is so on point. I just recognized him, like, boom, oh, that's Bob. And there was this cop that was like talking to me, and I was like, look, could you do me a solid? Could you just watch this chair and this sign? I gotta go talk to him. He's the guy that I need to be talking to. Mm-hmm. And so I go running down the street chasing Bob Myers, like, Bob. And he's like,
he's probably all scared. He's like, what the hell is
like,
this guy?
what is this guy doing? And I was like, Bob, we need to talk. He's like, who are you? Yeah,
It's like this guy ran up to me. We need to talk.
Yeah, he's like, how do you know my name? Like, what? We need to talk. I'm like, we need to talk. And he like had this smile, like as if he was being pranked. And I was like, yeah, we need to talk. He was like, about what? He was like, I'm on a call. I was like, never mind that call. Yeah, we need to talk.
Put the phone
and
down,
you can hold me to this. Bob, I hope he hears this because he knows. And so I was like, hey, look, I'm chasing my dream and I want to be a warrior. He's like, a lot of people want to be a warrior, man. He's like, a lot of people want to be a warrior. I was like, I know, but a lot of people ain't me. You know how I know? Because of the surprised look on your face when I ran up to you. And he goes, he just like, who are you, man? What do
you want from me?
Yeah, what do you want? I was like, I want to be a warrior. I want you to bring me upstairs and put me through a workout so I can prove to you that I belong here. He's like, that's not how it works, man.
You're like, what timeline are you living on?
Yeah, he's like, that's not how it works. And I'm like, yeah, it does. He's like, what? No, it doesn't. I was like, what's your job title? General manager. Then it works like that. It works like that.
It's like, yo, Bob, give me one of those private workouts that you've been giving out.
Yeah. It works like that. You're the general manager. You can make it happen. And also, you know, if we want to sell more tickets, this is a big story that can be, you know, this could be really big. You know,
check out my Instagram. We got
10-day contracts. Even if it doesn't work out, a 10-day contract, you know how many more Dub Nation we can have with you signing this unknown player. Like the story, the impact that we can affect the community here in Oakland with the kids that are like, what? Yeah. We could do some powerful stuff.
You sold it.
And he was like, dude, you're out of your mind, man. He's like, you're out of your mind. I was like, I know this is coming a bit of a shock, but this has been years in the making. And I'm telling you, this can be huge, man. I really want this opportunity. And he's just like, I can't even believe I'm talking to you this long. and he's like, he was just so thrown off. And he's like, all right, look, I'm going to give you this card. Gave me this card of this guy named, at the time, he was the president for the Santa Cruz Warriors. And he gave me the card, and he was like, hit him up, tell him I sent you. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do that. But when are we going to get me upstairs, though? Because this is the parent
waiting on me with a seat.
Yeah, right here. And he was like, okay, if I see you more, that means that I need to bring you some Warriors gear downstairs. And I was like, absolutely. That's what you know. And so as he's like getting ready to close his door of his car, I like pull it back.
You're like, wait, Bob.
I was like, Bob, hey, I just want you to know that you're never going to run into a person like me again. And then he's like, okay.
He's like,
okay.
I hope not. No.
Okay. And so he shuts the door. And that was it of me and him talking. And so I continued to do what I did, post up for the remainder of my time there. And I ran into Sean Livingston, and Sean Livingston is the one that connected with me more than anybody. So for those that saw the ABC article, he was talking on there, and he gave me like these tickets and backstage, this backstage pass to talk to other people in the media and some of the coaching, and that's how I ran into Mike Brown. And so we talked a little bit, and then as I was wrapping up the project, I got invited to a radio station, and then I did the ABC7 feature.
And I want to pause on that real quick. I want to flip the computer on. All right, man. So I want to just walk through the article about you. Dubs fan goes all out in a bid to get a tryout with the Warriors.
Yeah.
So this news crew came out. Here's Dari with the sign. So this is the sign that
really out there.
He's really out there. More than
really
a kid from Chicago. And this is outside the facility that you said that they exited out of, right?
Yep. Right above that, they're practicing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is really you like living your dream. Mm. And just tell me a little bit about like this experience with the news article.
Yeah. So when that came about, I was completely thrown off because I was doing a radio show, like one of the biggest radio stations in San Francisco. And how that came about is a lady just came up. I think she just wrote to the radio. It was like, hey, there's this guy out here doing some amazing stuff, and you guys should take a look. And then I got an email from them saying, hey, we received a letter from someone, and they were just so inspired by what you're doing, and we want to hear all about this story. Would you be willing to come on the show? And I told my girlfriend, I was like, yo, your favorite radio station was like, they want to get me on the show. And she was like, oh my God, lost it. and they talked about it, and I go, Absolutely. And I couldn't believe this was happening because all I kept thinking, I was like, man, if I could just say more and more stuff with more views, and I knew Warrior players and stuff listen to the channel, this could be helpful. And so I did that, and then that led to ABC 7 reaching out to me. They want to do a full feature.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's this what we're watching.
This is
right
the
now,
video.
right?
That's what we're watching.
Man, they had your Instagram up and everything. You got Warriors players talking about you. How did you feel in that moment? Were you kind of like, man, this might just happen?
Yeah, I was like, this can really happen. This can really, really happen, because at the time they also had a player that was trying to make his way up into the league, and he went through the G League and go through all of this like different grind stuff, so he could really relate to just not having that traditional route, right? And so I was just like, man, I made the news, and this is positive. You know, this is all positive stuff. This is going to be something that's going to last forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I was like, at that moment, I was okay with not playing in the NBA one game.
Because at least you got to live your dream, even just by meeting the coaches and meeting the players.
Meeting them and talking to them, and then just all the people that I was able to inspire or being out there. And then having something like this just live on the net forever. That I'll just be able to just say, you know, how many people do this? You know?
How many people go and take this risk out to live their dreams, or even a chance to live it?
Yeah, and I just knew it was always in me, and I still can ball to this day. You know?
Yeah.
And so it was just such an amazing experience, dude. It's like there's really no words. I always have a hard time trying to think of the words to describe that, because it's like you see something so clear, and then you just like manifest, and then it comes to life, and then you're like, whoa. And when I was interacting with the players and the coaching, I wasn't starstruck at all. I was like, I should be here. Like
it felt right.
Yeah, it felt so right. It felt like home. I think that's the perfect description, like home.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I wanna fast forward.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, we met last August. This is August 2020.
Yep.
I was filming. We were doing a shoot for the brand Dripped, which is the shirt that we're coming out with here, and the hoodie that Dari is wearing.
Yes, sir.
And we were doing our fall campaign, and you came up to us, and you made an impression on me, because I could instantly tell that you were hungry, and you were asking me questions about the brand and about, you know, hey, like, what do you guys do? And so we started talking, and at the end of it, we're like, yeah, we should collab. Yeah. Because you started telling me about how now you're coaching youth, basketball, or individual one-on-one, right? You're training them to become better basketball players, improving their technique in their game. And I really like that. And, you know, fast forward a couple months later, we started doing a couple video shoots for you, and I wanted to bring your story to life. Yeah. And so I wanted to just quickly play that. It's going to be a minute. And I used a lot of the content from that news article.
Yeah, it was an amazing time for that.
Yeah.
It was a very well put together video too.
I appreciate that. This was our second video that we put out.
It still gives me the chills.
Yeah, it's almost like a movie trailer.
Every day, knowing it was a chance for me to be better.
And this was over multiple days too. It wasn't just one.
And we were grinding, hopping fence.
We hopped a fence to get into this. This was a locked basketball schoolyard. This was at like what, 5, 6 in the morning?
Allegedly, you guys said that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
And man, it was just a blessing to film you and see you coach these talented young guys.
I really love how you brought out the real, you can see the passion in me when I'm coaching. And that's one of my top students right there.
Right.
Yeah, man, you're right there. You're in there.
Yeah, and I mean, you came out with us. This is us when we shot the Mission hoodie back in December.
What's your pursuit?
And yeah, man, this was a real pleasure to work with you on this, because I think what I want to do and want to continue to do is bring your story to life. Because you have a really inspiring story, and I think there's not a lot of people that have listened to it, and I want more people to listen to it, because not a lot of people have done what you've done. And so fast forward, I want to show off Dari's Instagram. You can find him at Dari Arrington on Instagram. and he has another account, Lab Hoops TV.
Yep.
This is life and basketball brand. And this is kind of the page that you promote.
Yeah.
All these different things that you do. You're a coach. You run all these other Instagram pages that help promote what you do.
Yep.
So, so tell me a little bit about what you currently do now and what's next for you.
Yeah, for sure. So what I'm doing now is just really bringing to life all my creative juices, and using basketball as a tool to communicate that. So I create a lot of creative content with a little bit of vintage stuff. So growing up, one of my biggest games that I love was NBA Jam. So I have a lot of highlight videos. I know a lot of guys just post their basketball highlights, but I wanted to add a little bit more taste to it and just kind of resemble the NBA Jam feel, like it's retro. It's this video game feel, and people that really get into that nostalgic feel, they resonate. And so I created a post like that.
I like this. This is really creative too.
That is like resembling the player card that you would get on the game. And so that just kind of talks about that. And then I do my quotes, and then my partnerships for brands. So right now I'm like just constantly teaming up with smaller brands and helping promote them, and just doing collaborations. And it's like the same thing with Drip. And that's the biggest thing for me. It was like, all right, it's not about me. It's about bringing together everybody that has a vision and that's inspiring and want to do things. So I do a lot of voiceovers. I shoot my own videos, and like film breakdown for individuals that want to learn the game and tap into my psyche, because just like the stories about me trying out, I was always a super high IQ player. And so I do all this, and you can find it all through Lab Hoops TV. So just like creative content, inspiration, video breaks down, some little podcasting for me. I'm asking questions about current sports events. I'll get into the costumes. Like I was a wizard playing basketball. I think this was
really creative.
Yeah, that's Wizard D. And so I traveled all across California and played against people in that wizard outfit.
That's funny.
So,
and this helps you stand out too. I mean, it's a shareable thing.
Absolutely. And so what I really wanted to bring to life with my brand was the influences and my muses with like Nike and Jordan brand and all these things that are legendary. And I knew that I always wanted to be legendary and have something that was going to really resonate with not just one person. So I feel like I created life and basketball brand, and so that's what I'm doing now with all the basketball training and content creating and whatnot. And then what's next for me is to continue to do that. On an even higher level, and potentially work within the NBA. So I got some things in the works
right now.
Yeah, some things in the works that I'm really looking forward to, and I do think this will definitely pop off, and not turn out to be like the high school years, get cut.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what's going on, and I'm gonna be relocating to Atlanta, so looking forward to that too.
Well, I'm excited for you, man.
Sneak peek of what's to come there.
Yeah, a little sneak peek.
Yeah. There you go, man. Well, like I said, I'm excited for you, and just honored to have you on the show and to tell your story. I think, like I said before, it's a really powerful story. Not a lot of people have done what you've done, clearly. Yeah. And I think when I think about kind of the brand, my brand, Don't Relent Your Pursuit Today is the meaning of Dripped. You embody that. You never gave up on your dream, despite the fact that, their high school teams didn't want you to be on their team. Mm-hmm. You've found ways to put yourself in a position to make it happen. Yeah. And, you made it happen, man. Whatever.
Yeah, I persistence. I appreciate that. And just to, touch on the brand Drip, I think it was a match made. I think, like my motto for my brand is to dream different. And with Drip, it felt like that. Like I remember when I was talking, it was like, yo, I just really like the name Drip. You know, it's just like, it just hits different. And you know, seeing what it meant and what it was about and how much work you put in for it. It's like, I really want to be around that energy. And then just hearing the backstory of how it all started. You know, you took a chance on yourself.
Sure.
You took a chance on it, and I'm always going to resonate with something like that. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're here. So it's like,
Yeah.
what can we do to like get this out there to the world so they can see it together? And so, no, you know, I appreciate being a part of this family for sure. Like it's unreal. I love it. And there's so much more that's coming. And I'm definitely looking forward to all the other creative ideas in the future that, you know, we'll be able to bring to life.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, like I said, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for sharing your story. You can catch new episodes of the Untapped Potential every Monday. So stay tuned for more episodes, and thank you for watching.